What's going on, guys, and welcome to Formula 7 Racing. We are live here for our Le Mans Ultimate Multi-Class race. Just doing a quick sound check. It all sounds okay. So, new qualifying rules is that GT3 cars will have 15 minutes to qualify, and then hypercars will have another 15 minutes to also qualify. They will not be on track at the same time, so the hypercar drivers will just watch the GT3 drivers qualify. So whilst that's going on, we will bring up just the GT3 cars. So we've got a couple of the drivers. I think it's Arthur Woods. Look at that for a livery on that Mercedes. Arthur Woods here in Spa-Francorchamps. And then you've got Stephen Martin just behind him. Then you've got Mato Gubro, Dan Quinn, Lorenzo Gigante, Marek Odlos, Richard Rockford, Mael Castro, Jamie Brass, Mikhail Hotch, Marin Kitagawa, Richard Hubler and Daniel Krupa. Love that livery from Daniel Krupa in that Porsche. But we are on board with Arthur Woods, who will get us underway here in Spa as we go down in towards La Source at turn 1. Who is going to put it on pole position for the GT3 cars? They have 15 minutes to go. Well, now 12 and 20 seconds. So as we head in towards Rouge on board this Mercedes, the drivers just pulling a few gaps behind, and just to give themselves a little bit of racing room. Oh, that is Stephen Martin that is round, that goes sliding in to the barriers, and already his rear wing has gone. Stephen Martin, it has happened to so many good drivers over the years. They have lost it going up a Rouge, and Stephen Martin is not exempt. So, Arthur Woods going through the woods as we go down in towards Brussels. You can see just through the trees. What a camera angle that is. That's what we like to see here in LMU. Oh, I like it, Matt. I like it a lot. So, Arthur Woods down in towards Pujon we go. The Mercedes driver into the left-hander, just holding it nice and tight. Just easing onto that throttle, around he goes, and then he'll just downshift and brake a little bit early, down in towards second, just hugging the apex to the right hand side, back into the left, up to third, just easing off the throttle, back into fourth as well as we go down in towards turn 12, and then in towards Kerber Frere. This is very easy to lose it around here, so Arthur Woods will be careful as he comes around. But it is a good lap from Arthur Woods. How are we, Malk? We okay? Nathan, we are back. Let's go, Mirko. We've got such an amazing grid here tonight. Wow. This is what I'm talking about. This is what Le Mans Ultimate Multi-Class is all about. This is why we stuck with it. We are absolutely killing it now. The drivers are loving it, and we're loving it as well. Here comes Arthur Woods down towards the line we go. He's going to set the benchmark here in Belgium as a 2:21. Jamie Brass is into the pit lane. Dan Quinn in that iconic now Brazilian livery coming through. Lude Drac. How are we, Lude? Nice to see you back. Lude Drac on track. He is back. I need to give it a rest. Lorenzo in that pink Mercedes is up to P2. Marek Odlos in the Ferrari. F1 Line, thank you for the follow. Robert Rockford in that pink Porsche. Mato Gubro. He's got rid of his livery. It's a full black. Mato Gubro used to race in a really nice livery. Stephen Martin is back out. Jamie Brass as well with that red and white BMW M4. Mikhail Hotch overtake leukemia. He's racing with that again. Mikhail Hotch had an amazing race here last week. It might have been the GT3 race actually, but I'm not sure. I think it was multi-class. Ducky, if you've signed up, you should be able to race. If you've not signed up, it is full. But the thinking behind Macau Hotch and Overtake Leukemia is that one of his friends and one of our friends who race on track in Le Mans is currently battling leukemia. He's trying to get better, and we pray and we hope and we send love to that driver. I won't name him just in case he doesn't want people to know him, but that is the reason why we're wearing that Overtake Leukemia livery on that BMW tonight. Marek Odlos in that Ferrari coming around Pujon. But we do have the number 12 car of Robert Rockford in the Porsche, who is 6 tenths up coming around Pujon. And Daniel Krupa in the Porsche down in towards the bus stop chicane. I am loving that. Is that like an American themed livery? That is a gorgeous livery on that Porsche. Daniel Krupa will come down. Where is he going to put it in this GT3 grid? Daniel Krupa puts it P8. Then you've got the black Porsche just behind him of Ivan Stefanov. And he will put it in P15. Stefano and Tim Schaap. Tim Schaap also with that Overtake Leukemia livery on that Mercedes. I love it. Love to see it. Tim Schaap involved in a collision with Jamie Brass last week. Hopefully they can clear the air tonight and have a good race between them. That's what it's all about. We just want people to be able to enjoy the racing. And Mael Castro in that all-black fierce BMW will come to the line set in purple sectors, and he is 1.7 clear of any other driver on track. Oh, that's not very good, Tom. So Lorenzo is also half a second up. That is Marin Kitagawa. No, it's Macau Hotch to the line that goes P4. So he is 2 seconds behind Mael Castro, and then you had Daniel Krupa, I think Marek, and also Stefano. Stefano coming out of La Source. He did improve and went up to P10. We have just under 7 minutes to go here. Mato Gubro. A few of the drivers, I think Stephen Martin came through. He did. He went up to P7. We have got some racing on our hands already. This is really competitive. But it's the GT3 cars that are setting laps early. Remember, 15 minutes for the GT3s to qualify here in Spa. And then we move on to the hypercars. This is what it's all about. Robert Rockford, Tim Schaap. Let's see what Tim Schaap can do as he comes through. Les Combs down. So through Brussels and towards the corner with no name. And nice, just hugging the curb there. 1.2 up is here, Tim Schaap. I know that he made a mistake through the second and third sectors, so that's probably where he'll be gaining his time as we go through Pujon, just easing off the throttle. So can Tim get up this grid? We have 17 GT3 drivers on the grid here tonight. Edward Cook not here, but Kevin Estray is now on track in that purple. And that was Ivan Stefanov that went up to P14. But we are still on board as we come through Stavelot at turn 15 and down towards Kerber-Paul Frere at turn 16. It's 1.7 up. Here's Tim Schaap. This could put him around 4.3. It could put him around P6, P7 here for Tim. This is massive. Especially when qualifying ends in just under 5 minutes. What a camera angle, shaking that lens as we go through Blanchimont and up towards the bus stop chicane in that draped in the orange, draped in the Overtake Leukemia. Sending love to the driver that is battling leukemia. He's lost a lot of time through the bus stop chicane. He's going to come down towards the line. It's going to be P9, P10. Tim Schaap to the line goes P10. 7/1000ths behind Robert Rockford. That is close. So the number 6 driver of Marin Kitagawa coming through the bus stop chicane. He is 7 tenths up in that all black BMW M4. We know that Marin is usually draped in the blue. And to the line, and it is P6 for him. I hope Tim has a good race today. Obviously he didn't have a good race last week, and I'm really hoping that he can do something special here tonight. He's not had the best of races. He's still, you know, getting over obviously the incident last week, and I understand his frustrations. I do understand his frustrations. So we just got to try and move on, and hopefully he can have a good race tonight. And I do hope that Tim has a good race, and because it is difficult, especially when you're involved in incidents, and that anger takes over and that frustration, and you just got to try and shrug it off. But I'm hoping Tim can do that tonight. So Ivan Stefanov, he's got a driver up the inside of him. That's Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn is racing, and he's half a second down. Then you've got Mato Gubro coming through Blanchimont. He is 7/10 of a second up. Interesting stuff. 3 minutes to go here in qualifying. Yeah, F1 Lime, hopefully, mate. So Mato Gubro is going to put it around P8 if he carries on like this. To the line we go. And Mato Gubro puts it P8 in that Ferrari. So bear with me, guys. So we are going to have the final laps from these drivers. Richard Hubler is coming through, so is Jamie Brass. But the drivers will not get many more opportunities. Richard Hubler coming down to start his lap. And then you've got the number 20 car, who is yet to set a lap. Yeah, we have three of the GT3 drivers not here, which is a shame because we had a lot of drivers wanting to race. So Daniel Krupa is 1.1 seconds up on his final lap time. I don't think he'll get another run. So through the bus stop chicane for Daniel Krupa. And this is a really neat lap from the Porsche as we head down towards the checkered flag. And Daniel Krupa goes P7. And Dan Quinn is half a second down. Will he make it to the line? I think he will make it for one last run. He's got 40 seconds to get there and get out. Stefano. Then we've got Mato Gubro, who's well down on his lap. Marek is also down. Are they going to make it? 30 seconds to go for one last run. And then the hypercars are going to start leaving the pit lane. Kevin Estre is 1.1 up. So the M4 comes through the bus stop chicane and down towards the checkered flag. No more GT3 cars are going to get to the line. And Kevin Estre will be the first of the final run as he goes up to P7. Macau Hotch is not going to improve, but he's not going to make it to the line. And that is it for Macau Hotch. The hypercars are now on their way out of the pit lane. Then you've got Tim Sharp, who is coming through. He goes into the pits. He's not going to be able to improve on his lap time. Ivan Stefanov and Stephen Martin. Stephen Martin out of the bus stop chicane. He's 2 seconds up in that Mercedes. Stephen Martin goes P5. Ivan Stefanov will stay P15. Who else? Jamie Brass. Oh, look at this from the two drivers. He's going to slipstream him all the way down. And Jamie Brass goes P13. Then we have Richard Hubler, who is yet to set a lap time. He's leaving it very late here in that Ferrari. All of the hypercars are on their way out. And Richard Hubler, where will he put it on his debut? P16 for the Ferrari man. Yeah, Voidless Castro looks really quick, doesn't he? 1.4 clear. Wow. So, Mael Castro takes pole position here in Belgium for the GT3 cars. We now move over to the hypercars. So, who will take pole here? So, Mirko will be the first driver out. But look who's right behind him. Josh Harper-Jones. Lucas Rosinski and Richard are already fighting that overtake leukemia. Draped over that hypercar of Lucas. And then you've got Richard, Ryan Clemenson, Lucas, Noah Schaefer, Thomas Buter. I like Thomas's livery. Look at that. That's a really nice. And he's got at Tom Buter on it. He's I've seen Tom on socials, very much like a Viking himself, and a livery to match it. Bart Janssen and George Benham. George, debut race. Alexander and Marcel. And then Matthew Wells and Mika. Oh, look at that livery from Mika. Very nice. Paco Lara. And then Gigi van der Schoot. So, a few of the drivers already on track. So, Mauk Veltrop. Oh, what's going on with Mauk? Is he going to go back into the pit lane? I think he is. I don't know what's happened with Mauk. But Mirko will get us underway for the first hypercar lap. Macau, yes, but if they start the lap before, if they start the lap after the 15-minute marker, they can't finish it. So, Mirko, 33.0. Josh Harper-Jones, 33.1. Then comes Lucas, 33.5. And Ryan Clemenson, 33.0 as well. Richard, 33.8. Lucas, 33.8. This is extremely close through Sector 1. 33.3 from George Benham. Thomas Buter, 0.8. Noah Schaefer, 0.3. Bart Janssen, 0.5. Everybody is extremely close coming through Sector 1. A lot of the hypercars on track. But Mirko will be the first one. Remember, 30 minutes of qualifying now. 15 minutes for GT3s. 15 minutes for hypercars. The grid is absolutely stacked. So, coming in towards Stavelot at turn 15. It is Mirko Spinala, the Italian, here in Belgium. And then Josh Harper-Jones trailing him as they come out of Curvepole Frere and down in towards Blanchimont. And you can see absolute full throttle, 186 miles per hour as they come through Blanchimont and up towards the bus stop chicane. These hypercars are absolutely rapid. Slamming on that brake pedal. Mirko goes deep and over the apex, and that will be costly. Josh Harper-Jones will make a run on him to the line. He will take provisional pole. Mirko does not. He doesn't get that third sector. Ryan Clemenson comes through. Then comes Lucas in that overtake leukemia. Mauk Veltrop on his way out of the pit lane. Richard and then Lucas. Then comes George Benham in that Genesis up to P3. Alexander Midton. And then Marcel Fuchs with a very Romanian looking hypercar. Micah in P8. Thomas Buter in P10. Noah Schaefer in P11. Mirko. Bart Janssen is trying to improve. Then you've got Raymond Hertog to the line. He goes up to P6. Bart Janssen. And then the number 2, who is that? I don't know who that is actually at the moment. It is Josh Harper-Jones, it is. So all of the hypercars did set a lap, barring Mauk Veltrop, Mirko, Bart Janssen. Matthew Wells did not set a lap either. So down in towards Brussels for Matthew Wells. Rock Robs, yeah, it's all about the race though, innit? Points down to P15. You got to get them points. So Matthew Wells and Bart Janssen. Bart Janssen 6 attempts up through Sector 1 on Matthew Wells. That is interesting. And then Paco Lara into the pit lane. Gigi van der Schut in the pit lane also. So Mirko and Mark Velchot, so it is Bart Janssen and Matthew Wells. 55.1 through that sector 2 for Bart. 56.0 for Matthew Wells. So Bart Janssen here is flying as he comes through Blanchimont. The hypercar driver just rubbing onto the curb as he came round that right-hander, that left-hander, in towards the bus stop chicane. The right and left, you've got Mirko just, I think there was a driver in front of him then that went and did the same thing as Mirko. So down towards the checkered flag for Bart Janssen. Then you'll have Matthew Wells. Bart Janssen goes P5. Matthew Wells, a little bit of traffic behind him. And Matthew to the line will go P10 as a couple of more drivers came through. And that was Noah Schaefer in the Alpine-inspired hypercar. Went up to P3. Lucas is into P2, but Ryan Clemenson in a league of his own at the moment. 7.5 minutes to go. So George Benham is also on another lap. He is slightly down. He's got a GT3 car back out on track, and I'm not sure why. Ivan Stefanov is back out on track. I don't know what he's doing here. I think somebody might have to message him. Man, look, he's being flashed there by the hypercar. There must have been a mistake here for him to leave the pit lane. But the number 8 car of Josh Harper-Jones is slightly down. Can he make it up through the bus stop chicane? We've got another GT3 car on out of the pit lane. That's Nicholas Duncan in the Lexus. These drivers should not be on track setting laps. So Ryan Clemenson, then you've got a few of the hypercars come in. That is Raymond Hertog that is half a second up. Lucas, a lot of them coming through. Josh Harper-Jones, Micah, Richard is round. The hypercar driver with that Shell-inspired livery is around. Alexander, Matthew Wells coming to the line. Marcel Fuchs is round at La Source. The Peugeot driver, Thomas Buter, has stopped on track. Malk Veltrop coming up a Rouge, takes a huge chunk of that. Mirko trying to set a lap now. Just under 6 minutes to go. And Ryan Clemenson has collided with one of the GT3s. This is not good. And there'll be an investigation obviously straight after the race to see why the GT3 cars have come out when all of the hypercar drivers stayed off the track for the opening 15 minutes. And he's going to get a slipstream from the Lexus, but he might lose a bit of time here. Yeah, he's not going to be happy about that. So, Josh Harper-Jones, 5 minutes to go. He is slightly down as he comes through Kerber Paul Frere. And the number 6 car has spun it. That is Lucas. Oh no, he stopped on track, sorry, just to go back into the pit lane. Then you've got Lucas, 1.4 down. Raymond Hertog, slightly down as well. Then you've got George Benham, half a tenth up as he comes around Kerber Paul Frere. And then he's got that run up towards Blanchimont. Yeah, Macau, I've already spoke to the team. I expect a little bit of confusion. And we'll just have to deal with it with the stewards after the race, of course. Oh, and George Benham is around at the bus stop chicane. He was improving as well. Oh, he will be frustrated with that one. What about Micah? He is on the brink. He only needs to find less than a tenth to get in front of Josh Harper-Jones. And he's lost it out of the bus stop. And then at Matthew Wells, he's not improving. We've got Raymond Hertog, who is slightly down, and then Marcel. And a couple more GT3s are back out on track. And look at that, Raymond Hertog is 1/1000th of a second behind Bart Janssen in P2. They are both 8/10. Oh, and look at that. Lucas has gone and set the exact same time as Raymond. That is remarkable. They are both 0.888 behind the leader. So there's 1/1000th of a second separating the second, third and fourth. I know it says 2/1000ths on the screen, but here it's just under 2/1000ths. Wow, that is amazing. It is extremely close. George Benham's still in the pit lane. Then we have Mirko. Remember, he's yet to set a lap. Oh, he's done it again. He's gone late on the brakes into the bus stop chicane. He's got 3 minutes to rectify this. He's got 3 minutes to find a decent lap. Josh Harper-Jones is going to improve. But by how much? That was not the exit out of the bus stop chicane he wanted, and he lost a tremendous amount of time. And he will stay in P8. He needed to find around 2.2 temps. Lucas will go for that one last run. So all of the hypercars are out on track for their final runs. 2 minutes to go. So all of the drivers just queuing up now. Matthew Wells being one of them. Oh, he's into the pit lane. So that is it for Matthew. He will not improve. But the first of the final runners is going to be Thomas Buter as he comes around Pujon. He is 4 of a tenth up on his lap time. This is a clean lap from Thomas as we go down in towards Stavelot. He's half a second up now. He needs to find around 7 tenths to make up any positions, and that's exactly what he's doing. Around Paul Frere, and then we head towards Blanchimont, and he is 6.5 tenths up now. This is what we need, Thomas. Full throttle through there. Beautiful stuff. In towards the bus stop chicane. This needs to be perfect. Oh, he got the entrance right. Now he needs the exit. Oh, he lost a little bit of time. Oh, it was so good up until it wasn't, and he stays P15. Then we've got Mirko, who is going to get one last run at this with 30 seconds to go. Bart Janssen is slightly down. Then you've got Lucas behind him. They are probably going to make it to the line. And there's the driver. I think that's Mike, who's made a mistake. And he will not improve. And Mauk Veltrop is a second up on his lap time. And that is a driver moving out of the way. So Mauk will be next. He needs to find more than a second to improve his racing position. And he is 1.5 seconds up. Mauk to the line. Mauk stays P16. And the other drivers are coming through. Ryan Clemenson is in the pit lane. Bart Janssen, Alexander Midton goes up to P8. Then comes Noah Schaefer in that Alpine-inspired hypercar through the bus stop chicane. But he's down on his lap time and he's not going to find the green. And then Thomas Buter is trying again. He wants some extra positions. And if you look at where Thomas Buter is, if he even makes up 4 tenths of a second, he makes up 4 race positions. That could be massive for the race. Mirko needs to get a lap on the board, a decent lap. Then you've got Lucas, who is slightly in the green as we come down towards Stavelot. And then the number 2 driver of Bart Jansen. He is going to get a final run. Thomas Buter still in the green. We know if he gets the bus stop chicane right, he can make up so much time. So down in towards the bus stop chicane. Is this better? It is. He gets the exit he was wanting. And Thomas Buter to the checkered flag. He's going to make up a couple of positions at the end. Thomas will go and stay P16. What happened there? But it is Ryan Clemenson, and that is Lucas, I think. Raymond Hertog in the pit lane. Noah Schaefer and Lucas Rajinski. The number 2 driver of Bart Jansen is not finding that improvement. This is it. Ryan Clemenson is going to take pole position here in Spa for the Belgian Grand Prix. Bart Jansen will start alongside him on the front row of the grid. That was a great qualifying. Now let's have a look. So we can see the top 8 from the GT3s and the hypercars. It is Ryan Clemenson and Bart Jansen, Raymond Hertog, Lucas Rajinski, Noah Schaefer, George Benham and Alexander Midson. That will be the top 8 of the hypercars. Then you've got in the GT3s, Mael Castro, Arthur Woods, Lorenzo, Macau Hodge, Stephen Martin, Marin, Dan Quinn and Kevin Estre in the top 8 of the GT3s. This should be a cracker of a race. As they all line up. It will be the hypercars that lead though. So look at this. This is brilliant. They're all going to start on the curb of Blanchimont and do a short run up. Ah, that's a real shame, Marcel. This is it. Formation lap is underway. We are going to go racing. Here in Belgium, the hypercars will lead the way. This is what we have all been waiting for. Ryan Clemenson on pole position. Bart Jansen alongside him on the front row. And we've got Raymond Hertog and Lucas Deduge in P3 and P4. So into the bus stop chicane we go. So out of the bus stop chicane, then it's a run up to the checkered flag as we are about to go racing here in Spa Francorchamps for F7 Racing, Le Mans Ultimate Multiclass Weekly Racing. And it is green here in Spa as we go up towards La Source. Ryan Clemenson has been overtaken by Raymond Hertog, but he backs out. Bart Jansen is into the lead of this Grand Prix. Lucas, George Benham, they are wheel to wheel as Lucas Rajinski goes side by side with George Benham. Now he backs out. Then you've got Mirko, Josh Harper-Jones. Look at these two as we go up towards a Rouge. That is George Benham that is scrapping with Raymond Hertog. And he just backs out. Then you've got the GT3s of Mael Castro, Lorenzo, Arthur Woods and Macau Hodge. Dan Quinn is there as well. He's side by side with Marin Kitagawa. Then you've got Dan Krupa as he's about to go free wide with Jamie Brass and Tim Schaap as they head down in towards Les Combs. And it is Dan Quinn that is just edging ahead. of Marin Kitagawa. Great racing here. Then you've got Mirko in the hypercar, and that is a drive around. That is Lucas Radzinski. That is around, coming out of, down towards Brussels. So, drama on the opening lap. Ryan Clemenson is down to P2. The hypercars are starting to figure it out between themselves. Marcel Fuchs and George Benham have found themselves in the middle of the GT3 cars. Tim Schaap has got Kevin Estre on the back of him. He's going to look for the inside line, and then Tim Schaap blocks him off as they go down in towards Buchon. And then Kevin Estre moves, and then he'll switch it back up the inside. Kevin Estre with a delicious overtake around Buchon. Tim Schaap runs wide. He will now have the inside line as they go down in towards the next chicane. And Tim will ride the apex, but Kevin Estre has the grip to get the move done. Wow! And look at this. What about Stefano Lavarone? As he just kicks up the dust here, Tim Schaap. Around Kerber Frere, not a thing to separate them. Ryan Clemenson 6/10 behind, and look at this, Matthew Wells into the bus stop chicane. He is through on Mika, he's round. And that is Mika that is round at the bus stop chicane. I think it was Alexander Midson that went round. It was. Arthur Woods chasing down Lorenzo. Then you've got Nicholas Duncan in that Lexus making up places. Tim Schaap being swallowed up a little bit as Robert Rockford is next in line to make a move. And Jamie Brass being overtaken by Daniel Krupa in the Porsche. What about Arthur Woods as we head up towards Arouge? And then you've got Ryan Clemenson. He's all over the back of Bart Janssen as they go in towards Les Combs. Josh Harper-Jones and Mirko. Richard is there as well, and Matthew Wells just in the distance. Ryan Clemenson is all over the back of Bart Janssen. And there goes Jamie Brass and Kevin Estre. Oh, and that is Arthur Woods that is off the track. And Kevin Estre is through on Jamie Brass, who's up to P8. Baco Lara is into the pit lane. He's called it a day very early on here in Belgium. And Jamie is going to try and make a move on Kevin Estre. Up the inside of turn 9. But Kevin, great racing from him to stay in front. Ryan Clemenson, 4 attempts is the gap to Bart in front. Mirko is up to P6. This is a good start to the race for him. Yeah, Giganti doing really well, the Italian driver. And Lucas Radzinski on Malk Veltrop as they come in towards Blanchimont. He's going to get that slipstream on him. Is it going to be enough to get the overtake? We shall see. Here comes Ryan Clemenson. Oh, and he was Lucas Radzinski. He was going for the move. And Malk is demoted to P11 as Lucas is through. And then you've got Micah and Thomas Buter in the distance. And then the GT3s. That is Dan Quinn that's off. Jamie Brass is through. So is Nicholas Duncan. So is Macau Hodge, sorry. And then here comes Jamie Brass up the inside of the Mustang. Robert Rockford now on the back of Dan Quinn. But Mael Castro already 2.5 seconds clear of the rest. And that is Matthew Wells that is around at the top of Arouge. Ryan Clemenson still very close to Bart Janssen. They are both around 2 seconds in front of Raymond Hertog, who had a good battle at the Sebring circuit last week. Then you've got Alexander or Marcel Fuchs, and he will make the move. Marcel down to P15. Macau Hodge in the Mustang on the back of Jamie Brass as they go up and down the Kemmel Straight. And look at Kevin Estre in front. He's using that Porsche as a tow for him to try and make a move as he'll switch it to the inside as they go in towards Les Combs. Kevin Estre will go later on the brakes, and the Porsche driver says absolutely not this time. And Daniel Krupa will stay ahead around turn 9, down in towards turn 10. He's into the dust. Kevin Estre might get another crack at this as they go down in towards Brussels, but he does back out. Daniel Krupa leaves the space wide open. And Kevin Estre just being polite, saying thank you very much, I'll take the space. Oh, and Daniel Krupa goes a little bit wider now. Here comes Jamie Brass as well. And Mikhail Horch. It's BMW, it's Porsche, it's Mustang. As we go down in towards Pujon, the Mustang backs out. Jamie Brass is through, and then the Mustang goes for it. And that was disaster. Oh, the Mercedes is nearly taken out as well. Mikhail Horch, disastrous in the opening 10 minutes. Richard Hubler is through on Mato Gubro. The two Ferraris just touching. He's round. Mato Gubro is around. And he's just got to try and get back on track. And that is Stefano Lavroni that nearly went into him. So it's drama on the opening laps. And still Ryan Clemenson not able to get past Bart Janssen at the moment. What about Lucas? On Mirko. Whoa, kicking up the dust there. As he goes a little bit wide. That is Matthew Wells that is into the pit lane. Not having the race that he would have wanted. Alexander on the back of Thomas Buter. I think he's from Finland, but don't quote me, Thomas Buter. And that is Daniel Krupa as they all go through. Mikhail Horch on the back of Dan Quinn. But Ryan, still there, still waiting, still being patient. Around Stavelot and down in towards Kerber Paul Frere. You've got Lucas on Mirko. Ryan Clemenson still looking for a way through. And I'm sure he'll find it at some point. Only 8 minutes down as well, and the racing has been fantastic. What about Marcel? And these three hypercars. Thomas Buter makes a mistake, and up the inside goes Alexander Midton, and so does Marcel Fuchs. Out of Kerber Paul Frere, down in towards Blanchimont. Marcel wants another overtake, but Alexander is defending. Thomas Buter is right there. And he sees these two going at it in front, and you've got Noah Schaefer in the distance as well. Later on the brakes goes Alexander. Marcel will try and beat him to the apex and get a better exit. But Alexander stays in front as Marcel runs wide, and Thomas Buter and Noah Schaefer right there waiting to pounce. And then you've got Ryan Clemenson as we come down the Kemmel Straight. Is this the moment? Bart Janssen leads, but Ryan Clemenson has arrived as we go down in towards Les Combs. They'll go side by side, but Ryan is through. What a move from Ryan Clemenson, the championship leader in the hypercars. Marek Odlos in that Ferrari on the back of the Mercedes of Tim Schaap. 32 drivers still on track here. Arthur Woods retired. Stephen Martin retired. Paco Lara retired. Still 32 out of the 35 drivers that started this race. Daniel Krupa on the back of the Lexus of Nicholas Duncan. Right, Lucas on Mirko. Matthew Wells retired too. You're absolutely right, actually. Yeah. No, I think he's still going. Yeah, Matthew Wells is still going. A real shame for Matthew. And look at this. And that is Mikhail Horch on Daniel Krupa down the Kemmel Straight. And the Mustang is through on that recovery drive after that slight mistake into Pujon. So we are watching some of these drivers. It is calmed down a little bit. He's still got a lot of battling though. Lucas is through on Mirko. Then you've got Marcel on Alexander. Come out of turn 10 and 11. Bart Jansen only 6 tenths behind Ryan Clemenson for the lead. Oh, and that was a yeah, just a GT3 driver getting out of the way. And that is Macau Hodge through on Nicholas Duncan. Dan Quinn on Daniel Krupa. They're going to go down the Kemmel Straight. I don't think he's close enough though. We'll see. But the BMW driver is around 4 tenths behind. And then you've got Josh Harper-Jones on Lucas as these come down the Kemmel Straight. He's going to go into the slipstream, but the Peugeot driver in front has got enough speed to fend him off as he go in towards Les Combs. Oh, and that was a driver that went kicking it up in the dirt. Oh, and Dan Quinn is in the middle of the track. And Bart Jansen from P2 has smashed into Dan Quinn. And that might be damage for the BMW driver. And that is not good. That's the risk you run, really, when drivers are both on track at the same time. Richard Hubler chasing down Robert Rockford. Out of the 36 drivers he had, 35 drivers, we've still got 29 on track. What about Nicholas Duncan on Macau Hodge? They are queuing up, and so is Ryan Clemenson. He's trying to stay out of trouble here, Ryan Clemenson. He does not want to get into a situation like Bart Jansen just got into, and he's going to go up the inside of all of them, and so is the other hypercars. And I think that is also Raymond Hertog that has started to catch up to them. It is. I just hope Bart Jansen doesn't have damage, because it would be a real shame, considering the race he was having, to lose it all from a collision with a GT3. And you can see them GT3s just queuing up behind Jamie Brass. One of the hypercars will go up the inside. A few of the hypercars actually, as they go up the inside of Jamie, and now they go wheel to wheel. And that is Lucas and Josh Harper-Jones. And Lucas will chase him down through a Rouge and down the Kemmel Straight. But look at the GT3s as well. Macau Hodge with Nicholas Duncan, who got a better exit. Down the Kemmel Straight we go. And look at them, there goes the hypercar. Macau Hodge collides with the Lexus, and look at Daniel Krupa as well. He's looking for a way through, and so is Jamie Brass. 2 by 2 as we go down in towards Les Combs, and they do collide. Jamie Brass, Macau Hodge and Daniel Krupa have collided. After 15 minutes of racing here in Spa, the Porsches are round. Macau Hodge in the Mustang, Jamie Brass in the BMW. So, already another collision. So, Bart is only 3 tenths behind Raymond Hertog, who is now in front. Has that damage played a factor? Raymond Hertog is up to P2. They are 3 seconds behind Ryan Clemenson now. Yeah, Macau is definitely, Hodge is definitely quick in that Ford Mustang. He just needs to be careful in it. So they're all travelling through the Woodstock chicane, and they are all starting to get really close now. Daniel Krupa on the back of Richard Hubler. Then you've got Jamie Brass, Macau Horch, and look at all these hypercars as well. You've got Nicholas Duncan leading the line, and the hypercar being swallowed up a little bit. He needs to get his foot down here, and he will. And there he goes, moves out of the way. But Nicholas, Jamie Brass, and Macau Horch all travelling in towards the Rouge. Nicholas Duncan is ahead of Jamie Brass, and Macau Horch has lost quite a bit of time. I'm not sure what happened there, I do apologise. Mari Kitagawa on the back of Kevin Estrade. You've got the hypercar driver coming through. I wasn't looking at the screen, I was looking at the laptop for the data and the stats, and as I turned back, Macau was gone, so I do apologise. The hypercar drivers, Marcel still on the back of Malk with 20 minutes down, 40 to go. A lot of the drivers still well in this race, and that is Thomas Buter just getting through on some of the GT3s of Kevin Estrade. Jamie Brass into P6. Robert Rockford is having a fabulous race here. He does have Macau on the back of him though in that Ford Mustang. So Daniel Krupa on the back of Richard Hubler, who's up to P9. Just goes to show consistency will get you there. Still got, oh, Dan Quinn's in the pit lane, so is Ivan Stefanov. Matthew Wells is still going. So 28 drivers still on track. Here comes Lucas on Josh Harper-Jones. These two, I tell you, Josh Harper-Jones and Lucas are the definition of a good hypercar scrap. Through Curva Paul for every go, but they have been going at it for 20 minutes straight now, having some fabulous battles, some wheel-to-wheel action, some great overtakes. That is what it's about, and it's very enjoyable. So Lucas Rosinski trying to catch up to Richard Tichak. What about Marin, who is up to P4 and still on the back of Kevin Estrade. Robert Rockford has been overtaken by Macau Horch. Then you've got Daniel Krupa on Richard Hubler, trying to come back into this race. Daniel Krupa still 6/10 of a second behind Robert Rockford, losing a little bit of time. Marin is still there with Kevin Estrade, who's just on the back of Josh Harper-Jones, and then you've got Alexander and Marcel Fuchs. And look at this, Alexander Midton will try and respond to Marcel Fuchs as they go down the Kemmel Straight into the slipstream. Here comes Alexander. Is he going to run out of track, or is he going to go for it? He does run out of track. And he'll have to wait for a better opportunity. So will Lucas as they go down in towards Buhon. And Daniel Krupa, I think, has made a mistake. He has lost a lot of time to Richard Hubler, about 8 seconds. And Marin Kitagawa down the Kemmel Straight as well. Lucas on Josh. What about Lucas Rajinski as well? Obviously with that overtake leukemia livery draped over that hypercar. As we said previously, sending our love to the driver that is trying to recover from leukemia at the moment and battling leukemia. A nice touch for the drivers. Alexander still on the back of Marcel as they come through Stavelot. .37 minutes left in this race, and we still don't know who's going to win. I mean, the one thing we are sure of, unless Mael Castro makes a mistake, he is so far clear of Lorenzo Gigante in that really nice livery in that Mercedes. And Marin is getting ever so closer to Kevin Estre now. Battling still going on everywhere. The drivers are just being patient now. They're settling down. And here goes Mirko. And they've got the GT3 cars in the way. And Mirko is going to make the move. And I don't know who that is. I think it's Matthew Wells. Sorry that he made the move on. We do have Lucas just in front of Mirko though. And then Alexander. Oh, he's very close as they come through Les Combs on the back of Marcel Fuchs. We've got Malk Veltrop in the distance, just behind, trying to catch up as well. Ryan Clemenson 6 seconds clear of Raymond Hertog, very similar to the Sebring race last week. And then at Marin Upper Rouge we go. Just bouncing over that curb. Richard Hubler catching up to Robert Rockford. This is a battle for P8. And look at Alexander again. Really good battle. So look at this from Alexander. Is he going to go up the inside of the source? He is not. He's being very patient here. It's good racing. Marin's still half a second behind Kevin Estre. And Richard only 8 tenths behind Robert Rockford in the distance, as you can see. Oh, and he got a good exit there, Richard Hubler. In towards Stavelot. And he is piling on the pressure to Robert Rockford in front. Around curb of Paul Frere. The gap is now 3 tenths of a second. Remember, there is rain at the end of this race. That's going to be very interesting. Can Richard make a move down in towards the bus stop chicane? I think he's a little bit too far behind as he moves out of the way for the hypercar. Robert will have to do the same, and I think that's the leader of Ryan Clemenson coming through. It is. And this might just open up the door for Richard Hubler as we go down in towards La Source. think Richard is just being patient and waiting for this opportunity. So up a Rouge, and then they've got another hypercar behind them. And look at Alexander now. Down in towards the bus stop chicane. Again, Richard, 0.2 of a second as he closes up to the back of the Porsche. He's getting ever so closer, but here comes another hypercar. And the driver's fully aware, really good awareness from some of these drivers. That is what you want to see. Alexander and Marcel Fuchs will definitely shake hands after this one, because it's been a great exchange between the two of them. And here comes Alexander. He got a good exit, but then he backs out at the last minute. Richard has lost a little bit of time, and here comes another hypercar. Oh, and that was that Matthew Wells or who was that? It might have been Matthew Wells. No, Matthew Wells into the pit lane, so it was Mirko. And 1.2 now behind is Richard. Lucas Rosinski up to P7. Richard doing well here. He's in P8. Lucas is through. He's starting to just open up a tiny bit of a gap. And Richard now has caught up to Robert again. 3/10 is the gap. He got a better exit. But he's probably going to run out of track before they get towards the source at turn 1. Yeah, not sure what happened, Dan. And that is Matthew. What that is, a couple of hypercars, and this is he's gonna struggle here, and that is Robert Rockford as well. And it is difficult. Fair play to the drivers. It is difficult when you're trying to race and you've got hypercars coming through, and then it hinders your overtake attack. I mean, he was well within touching distance, and then he's back with a second behind. So the drivers have got to be so aware. So they do a great job, really. We've seen a lot of DNS from the GT3 cars tonight, though. Stephen Martin, I mean Stephen Martin's besides the point. He's left anyway. Yeah, he's just left anyway. So that's no biggie. But then you've got Arthur Woods, who's retired, unfortunately for him. Stefano, who usually likes to finish every race. He's very consistent, so it's unusual to see Stefano like that. Noah Schaefer as well, and then Ivan Stefanov also likes to finish races, and Dan Quinn all in the pit lane. So it's a real shame. Some big names going out here in Belgium. And then the stewards room, I'm sure, will be busy after the race. And that is George Benham on Micah. And he is going to go for a move up the inside. Wheel to wheel. George Benham's going to go later on the brakes in towards Stavelot. George Benham is through. And now they have Robert Rockford in the way. Did that give Micah an opportunity to come back? Here we go. Down in towards Blanchimont. George Benham is going to defend. And the two drivers in identical cars through Blanchimont and up towards the bus stop chicane. But it's George Benham that pulls off the move and up to P9. He spins. George Benham is around. Micah is back through. That's how easy it can change. Wow. George Benham is down. Marcel Fuchs and Alexander Midton are through. Marion Kitagawa still on the back of Kevin Estre. They do have a hypercar right in between them both, though, keeping them apart like a fight in the park. with a hypercar just separating them. And here comes Alexander. Is he going to finally make the move? He is getting closer. And they are side by side. And Alexander might just finally be through in front of Marcel Fuchs, who goes later on the brakes. And he does collide with the driver in front. Back comes Alexander. And the Norwegian driver will go around the outside of Marcel. Just touches the gravel. Who is going to come out on top as they go down in towards Brussels? He goes deep. The Peugeot driver is back through and Marcel Fuchs is defending with all of his might. Marcel stays ahead. This is a good tussle between the pair of them. This is what the fans came to see here in Formula 7 racing. How are we, MB? You okay, mate? So there goes Jamie Brass as he'll move out of the way of these two hypercars as they go through Curb at Beaufort. Nice, MB. Oh, and who's that? The GT3 cars. And it was just Macau Hodge being overtaken by a hypercar. I am going to open the lobby like a day before this time, MB. I think one of the drivers said, is it possible to open the server a day earlier so they can get a lot of practice in first? And I thought, well, we're paying for the server for 3 days, so we may as well, haven't we? Yeah, I'm good, MB. Long day, mate. First day on the new job. Well, not new job, but new role. So yeah, I had to drive to Liverpool this morning at about 4:30, and yeah, ended up driving home at 2:15. Got home for about 3:15. Fell asleep. Malk is in P14 in the hypercars. No, I'll try not to, mate. Thank you. So, 25 minutes of this race remaining. So the gap is now 1.1 between Marin and Kevin Estre. So Marin losing a little bit of time. I'm wondering if anybody's going to go for that undercut. Bart Jansen down into P4, but I think he's pitted. And he is already back on the tail of Lucas. So we'll keep our eyes on this. Yeah, MB. It was full grid of hypercars. I think there's 18 hypers and 20 GT3s. I think 17 of the hypercars turned up. Yeah, it was because one didn't. And then out of the 20 GT3s, 17 turned up as well, or was it 18? Yeah, we had 35 of 38 drivers, yeah, so 18 GT3s out of 20 turned up and 17 out of 18 hypercars turned up, which is good. Robert Hubler on the back. And that is Matto Goodrow just moving out of the way. Is it raining? We know there is rain at the end of the race. It is, I think, raining. And that is Richard Hubler that is going wheel to wheel. Robert Rockford, the Porsche and the Ferrari. But it is the Porsche that just fends him off and stays ahead. Robert Rockford is going to have to defend this position, because Richard Hubler has been chasing him down lap after lap, getting closer and closer. But the rain has arrived here in Belgium. So out of Brussels we go. Alexander now 9/10 behind Marcel Fuchs. If I remember rightly to the Belgium race last season in this multi-class, I remember Alexander crashed going through Blanchimont and it caused severe damage. But here comes Richard Hubler now. So 6/10. Oh, and that is Macau Hodgson. It's front. Kevin Estre. I think he's in the pits. He is. So the rain is here. There's going to be 20 minutes of rain. Alexander still chasing down Marcel. What about Nicholas Duncan? Nicholas Duncan Marin is through and into the podium places. I'm wondering when this happened. Has somebody pitted? Yeah, Kevin Estre has pitted. Wondering if he made the decision to change tyres at all. And here comes Alexander through Blanchimont. Is he going to make a move in towards the bus stop chicane? He swings it to the inside. Alexander, later on the brakes he goes. He might just get the move done. He will have to brake early to switch up the inside. But again, Marcel defended. Nicholas Duncan in the Lexus on the back of the BMW as they come through. Curvepole Frere. And we now proceed towards Blanchimont. And he is closing the gap through Blanchimont. The Lexus driver trying to find a way through on Marin. He will go later on the brakes. The Lexus is around and through. Nicholas Duncan up to P3. That is how it's done. So Marin back down to P4 as Nicholas makes up a position. So the rain is chucking it down now. They are all into the pit lane. And I think they'll be changing them tyres. Kevin Estre with the blue warning, the blue flag warning. Nicholas Duncan up 20 places. Alexander is getting closer and closer. How's he ended up back behind Marcel Fuchs? This is a great battle between these two, it really is. I don't know how he's ended up back behind, but he has. So 16 minutes left in what's been a thrilling multi-class race here on this Monday evening for Formula 7 racing. As they usually are now every sort of Monday. So the gaps are quite spread out with 15 to go, but we can't be too greedy. We have seen quite a few battles. It's been action-packed, really, to be honest, for the majority of the race, which we like to see. Alexander and Marcel have been a big part of that. Richard Hubler is going to try and overtake Tim Schaap in the distance. And it looks like he's got a lot more grip. So Tim Schaap in the Mercedes will try to defend against the Ferrari. But I think Richard is going to make this one look easy to everybody watching. As he go down into Osles Comms, he brakes early though. And that Mercedes is holding on to that position. Tim Schaap wants to keep P9 with the rain barreling down on this circuit. Up in the mountains of Stavelot. I mean, the conditions here, the weather conditions are always treacherous. You're always guaranteed a little bit of rain. And that is Macau Hodge. Marin Kitagawa is into the pit lane, so Macau Hodge will move back up to P4. We don't know for how long though. And he is defending again, Tim Schaap. As we head down in towards turn 15 and 16 at Stavelot. Two tenths is the gap. And 2 tenths is the gap between Lucas and Josh Harper-Jones. We are watching Kevin Estre go deep into Osler Source. What's happened to Kevin Estre? Kevin Estre is pulling aside from P6. And Richard Hubler is chasing down Tim Schaap through Blanchimont. I don't know what happened to Kevin Estre. He was having a great race. Oh, and he bounces over the curb there, does Richard. And Tim is holding on again. Oh, and he's round. Richard is round. Oh, that is a real shame. Kevin Estre, I'm not sure what's happened to Kevin Estre, to be honest, because he was having a really good Grand Prix. Lucas and Josh Harper-Jones. And look at Alexander on Marcel. Considering we've been racing for 50 minutes, the hypercars are still very closely matched on track. And Josh Harper-Jones into the pit lane and on his way out. That's a great view of the pit lane, by the way. Wow. Bart Jansen is also into the pit lane. So a lot of the drivers now heading in. And them conditions too much to carry on. Lucas is in. Josh Harper-Jones is in. Ryan Clemenson is down to P3. But he will chase down Lucas and Raymond Hertog with 11 minutes to go. Richard 5 seconds behind Tim Sharp. And what about Nicholas Duncan? He's into the pit lane. Macau Hodge is also into the pit lane. Mael Castro well in the lead here. I tell you, it would have been nice to see somebody like Dennis Funky race here against Mael Castro. But he did leave after winning our first GT3 series. And receiving a little profile picture decoration. He did leave the server as well, so I'm not sure what happened with Dennis. It was a shame because he had the pace. So Josh Harper-Jones will come out just behind Mirko. I think Josh will not want to waste too much time behind Mirko here. But it's a good strategy. Alexander comes out in front of Marcel, which is massive. Macau comes out just behind Marin. And everybody else is quite spread out now. Ryan Clemenson, oh, he's cut a big chunk of that apex. And Lucas is into the pit lane. And so is Raymond Hertog. So Ryan Clemenson goes back into the lead. Josh Harper-Jones chasing down Mirko as we go in towards Blanchimont. It does rain. It rains, MB. It is raining. He goes wide in towards Blanchimont and then has to back out, does Josh. He's going to go later on the brakes in towards the bus stop chicane. He'll have the inside line. Oh, and he just cuts the apex. He is in front. I'm sure he'll give it back. He will give it back, and Mirko will go back in front as he flashes him. And then they will go back racing. And that is Lucas on his way out of the pit lane, and he has got 8.5 minutes to chase these down in front. He is going to be on an absolute charge here. Macau Hodge 1 second behind Marin. Mael Castro 38 seconds clear. I'm getting so engrossed in this battle, it's really enjoyable to watch. I hope you guys are the same. Sometimes silence is the best form of commentary. when you're watching such a thrilling battle, especially between somebody like Josh Harper-Jones and Mirko Sibinala as we go down in towards the bus stop chicane. He'll go later on the brakes. Can he switch up the inside? He's going to try. Then he'll switch it back again. He might just get the better exit. Josh Harper-Jones all over the back of Mirko as they go up towards La Source at turn 1. Is he going to be able to finally get in front? You do have Lucas Rajinski in the distance, and up the inside goes Josh Harper-Jones. He's in front, finally. Gets the move done with a beautiful switchback. Yeah, exactly, MB. So out of a rouge and down the Kemmel straight, and Josh has been led off the reins. Alexander and Marcel, and that is Alexander onto the grass trying to get a move done on Lorenzo Giganti in the GT3s. And Alexander is going to lose a lot of time here. Yeah, around 2 seconds to Marcel. And Macau Hodge on Marin getting out for P4. Marin taking a huge chunk of the apex. And then he's going to have to let Macau Hodge through. And that's what he does as they go up towards La Source at turn 1. And Marin is down to P5. The chase is on to Nicholas Duncan with 5 minutes remaining. So Nicholas Duncan 4 attempts behind Lorenzo. Wow. Josh Harper-Jones has been re-overtaken from Mirko with 4 minutes to go. He will not like that. Macau is now 6 seconds behind Lorenzo, so I'm not sure what happened there. Oh, Nicholas Duncan got through. Nicholas Duncan is up to P2. Lorenzo is struggling. I'm wondering if Lorenzo has decided to stay out here because the drivers are catching up to him. He has got to hold on for 4 more seconds. Josh Harper-Jones is looking for a move in towards Les Combs. Practically pushing Mirko through there. And Alexander on Marcel. And we're coming to the end of this race. The moves have got to be done now. Collision detected for Jamie Brass. Not sure what has happened there. Wow. And he has got Richard Hubler on the back of him. And then you've got the hypercars. One goes left, one goes right. And I think that is Mirko and Josh Harper-Jones. And Josh, with the help of a couple of GT3 cars, picking up the scraps. Thank you very much. Mirko will try to respond as he goes for that late lunge up the inside. Oh, he's round. And was that a little bit optimistic from the Italian driver of Mirko? I think so. Richard Hubler still fighting with Jamie Brass for P8. Mirko will come back. Richard is trying to squeeze through in that Ferrari through Blanchimont and up towards the bus stop chicane. Jamie runs wide. This could be the opportunity to Richard. Only 2 minutes to go to get this move done. Alexander as well on Marcel. Richard not able to get it done in the bus stop chicane, but Jamie Brass runs wide. But he stays ahead at the moment. Alexander. Ryan Clemenson 11 seconds clear at the front of the hypercars. So in towards the Rouge. And Macau Hutch has caught up to Lorenzo. Remember, this is for a podium. The hypercar of Thomas Buter coming through. And Lorenzo is struggling. He is really struggling. Through goes Thomas. And I think Macau might be able to pick up the pieces prior to obviously the steward's interventions. And Macau is going to try and come through on Lorenzo. And this is going to be for a podium through Blanchimont and the Ford Mustang driver. Oh, he's sliding. He's round. With a 30 seconds left in this race, Macau Hodge is into the gravel. Through goes Marin Kitagawa. And Lorenzo, Gigante Italian, stays in P3. And he's on for a podium still. Oh, Marin spun it. Marin Kitagawa has just spun it at the bus stop chicane with 7 seconds to go. What is going on? We are on to the final lap. So Ryan Clemenson well in front. Alexander still chasing down Marcel for a top 10 finish. Lorenzo does have Macau chasing him down. 2 seconds is the gap. Mael Castro 53 seconds clear of everybody else. Jamie Brass has been overtaken by Richard Hubler. It has all settled down. Yeah, the gaps have dwindled away. What a race. What a race. Ryan Clemenson coming around Kerber Paul Frere. And down towards Blanchimont. Macau Hotch has caught back up to Lorenzo. And Lorenzo will try to hold on. I wonder if Macau is going to get to the podium places again. But Ryan Clemenson is coming down in towards the bus stop chicane. And the Englishman once again in the hypercars. Macau Hotch is through on Lorenzo. Lorenzo just cannot hold on. He's not got the pace. But Ryan Clemenson will come through to win here in Belgium and take the Spa Grand Prix. Richard Hertog will take P2. And Bart Janssen will take P3 in the hypercars. Lorenzo is now catching back up to Macau Hotch. And here he comes. And Macau Hotch is weaving left and right to defend the position. Up the inside goes Lorenzo. In the Mercedes, they touch again. And Lorenzo, the stewards will definitely be involved at the end of this. Macau Hotch is off the track. Lorenzo is going to weave through and take P3. Mael Castro will win. Nicholas Duncan doing the donuts at La Source. Lorenzo takes P3. Macau Hotch in P4. The drivers, we love to see it. Nicholas Duncan on a P2. Mael Castro with a fantastic drive. Mael Castro wins the GT3 here in Belgium. What a drive. Robert Rockford is going to take P6. That is a phenomenal race from him. Tim Schaap taking P7. So, as we ride on board with Mael Castro, what a phenomenal, outlandish, outrageous, unbelievable performance from Mael Castro, who wins here in Spa to take the GT3s. What a drive that was from Mael Castro. Utterly stupendous and dominant drive as they all slide in towards La Source. Well done to the drivers. Well done. So there we have it. That is it. And that is it for round 3 here in Belgium. It was a good race. Really enjoyed that one. Yeah, I agree, MB. I agree. The stewards will definitely get involved. Oh, you go, bro. You are kidding. There was a storm on track here as well. There you have it. That is it. Thank you all so much for tuning in and watching. I appreciate you sticking with me. Thank you for the support and well done to all of the drivers. We are going to be back next Monday at 7 PM, but make sure you tune in on Friday for our Sedo Corsa consult here, which is definitely heating up, and it's the first time we'll be run on off SimGrid, and it'll be run independently, so we're hoping for a lot of stats, a lot of data, a lot of racing, a lot of renders. So yeah, tune in for that at 7 PM, and also F1 Realistic on Wednesday at 7 PM as well. But yeah, thank you all so much for tuning in, guys. It's been an absolute blast. It's been a pleasure. I don't know how I get this back off now, to be honest. Is it this? There we go. But yes, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you all on the next one.